All right, everybody. So please welcome our next speaker. The next speaker is Panos. He is working for the MasterCard, and he's doing his PhD, and he's most importantly also working for the Cyber Peace Institute. And I think this is what the talk will be about. So the stage is yours. Please give him a warm applause.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me in this talk. What does resilience look like when your IT team is just one person? And what does it look like when you are active in a war zone? With this presentation, I want to give you a brief oversight on such questions. First of all, who am I and why am I here talking to you? So, my name is Panos. I have a good 10 years of experience in the ICT industry. I have a good academic background, and for the last couple of years, I have been volunteering with the Cyber Peace Builders program. I have completed more than 15 missions, which has given me the Cyber Ranger badge, which is very cool. But let's see what the program is about. So, Cyber Peace Builders is a global corporate volunteering program by the Cyber Peace Institute, which aims at bridging the gap between NGOs and cybersecurity professionals. So what we do is that we engage with NGOs in missions that have different levels of technicality. We might have high-level missions, such as cybersecurity awareness training missions, or we might have more technical ones, such as dark web monitoring or vulnerability scanning. So it doesn't really matter how technical you are or you aren't, you can always help. How does it work? So, as I said, this is a corporate volunteering program, so your employer needs to be onboarded. The first step is to check if they are onboarded. If they are not, here's the link to get onboarded, and I will have a slide near the end of my presentation where I will show you what you can say to make them more confident in doing that. So, once your employer is onboarded, then you need to complete some basic humanitarian training, then set up your profile, and you will be good to work on some missions. Now, here is the basic screen that you will see to start setting up your profile. You can set the languages that you are confident in conversating in, your time zone, which is very important because you will be speaking with people from all around the world and helping teams all around the world, and you need some synchronous communication buffers. Then you will complete your skill set, so what things you are proficient at or what things you are interested in learning more about. And finally, the countries that you might prefer working with. Apart from that, if you have any particular area of interest for the NGOs that you will be helping, you can use that as well. This is the 17 different goals that the United Nations have created, and these, along with the previous selection of your profile, will be used to rank the different missions in your mission board. So this is how it looks like. It's a very basic Kanban board. On the recommendations, you see I have none because I have 2 current missions ongoing, and this is the maximum limit. Then you have one column for the ongoing missions and one column for the completed. And this is basically where you will spend time selecting your missions and tracking your activity status and all of that. So that's with the profile, we are good. Now, let's see what challenges non-governmental organizations face. When we do the basic humanitarian training, we see that NGOs are at risk because of 3 main reasons. First of all is what they do, what their mission is, where they are active around the world. Then is what they have. Usually that's about money, but it can be intellectual property or some other kind of tangible or intangible asset. And lastly, what they know. So this can be information on vulnerable populations or some other kind of sensitive information that they know. These 3 combined make NGOs target rich. At the same time, NGOs a lot of times do not have the necessary equipment or people or time and money to protect these assets, which makes them resource poor. And this is why we generally characterize NGOs as target-rich, resource poor. Now, the environment that these organizations have to operate in is identified by a lot of targets, a lot of assets of interest that potential attackers might want to target and exploit. And these companies, these organizations actually, do not usually have enough people to cover the assets. So more often than not, we are talking about one-person IT teams who are also responsible for tasks such as basic security training, and it's difficult to do all things at once and do them well. So another difficulty that we face is that because these teams are usually small and these organizations are small, they see cybersecurity as an extra administrative risk and expense. So every bit of help is very important, and this is where we all can be a good part in this situation. Now, I'm done with my introduction, and I want to share with you 4 different stories that I gathered to go through today. The first one is about an organization that targets the gap between volunteers and people who need help in active war zones. And this particular organization does exactly that. They help direct volunteers where they are needed to help civilians. Now, my engagement with this organization was for a multi-factor authentication advice mission. In this type of mission, we generally meet with the NGO. We give them high-level information of what multi-factor authentication is and how it can be used to secure their online accounts and their data. But after my initial engagement with them, I understood a very practical issue that they had. So the members of the organization, the volunteers, and the civilians that they were helping needed to cross borders between one country and the other. And because of the situation there, border control was in place, and that border control meant that people had to physically give over their devices for a check. Now, that means that any kind of sensitive information that might be found in these devices, messaging, data, it can put you in very dire situations that we wouldn't like to be in. So this was a great risk. At the same time, they needed mobile devices because this was the main communication mean between the volunteers and the civilians that they were using. They were using encrypted messaging apps. So this was crucial for the operation of the organization. So what I did was to give some practical advice on how they can reduce the risk while crossing the border. The first advice was to reduce the attack surface. So only travel with the bare minimum equipment that you need, which is a phone. Don't have anything else, any documentation or any other electronic devices. A good example would be to use a mobile phone that's a burner device essentially, so that they have been using for a week to gather some basic data in there to not look suspicious, but nothing more. The next was to log out of all the relevant applications, including the messaging applications. So log out, nothing can be seen if you have done that. Then travel with the devices shut down, because that changes the cryptographic state of the device. It's fully encrypted, the memory is clean. Even if they turn it on, there is nothing to be seen. Then enable multi-factor authentication, of course. And a good idea would be to maybe have a different person or a different device on the other side of the border that they would use the authentication app on their mobile phone to get you in your own apps. In that example, cloud-based MFA apps are very useful. And lastly, use strong passwords and even disable biometric controls in case the border control tries to trick you into unlocking your phone or the relevant messaging apps. So, what is the meaning of all of this in terms of resilience? Even in such tricky and high-risk scenario near a war zone, we managed to put some good security level for this organization. Thankfully, the people that we spoke with from the organization were very used to working on such environments, and they understood the guides that we gave them. But on a personal level, this made me realize that what I'm doing from my cozy side of the world in Ireland to some other people in a war-torn country is very important, because 2 hours of my time makes these people feel safer to go on the field and do the stuff that they need to do to save actual lives. And this is the first example that I thought of when drafting this presentation. The next story is about another organization that's active in keeping the public dialogue open and ensuring that we have places to do that. And this was a very specific example, because the founder of that NGO was under a lot of public pressure. So he was targeted by some questionable websites with defamation and a lot of rumors, which evolved into threats, into scam messages, into a lot of phishing emails, and that scared the individual, but this also seeped into the organization. So there was an environment of fear and uncertainty. My engagement with that organization was to do a dark web monitoring mission. In this type of mission, we are using a service to scan the dark web for indicators of compromise, for stolen credentials, and this is usually done with the domain name of the organization. Now, when I first spoke with the team there, they told me about the situation and that they wanted to expand the mission to that individual as well. But because of the service that we are using, our scope is very limited to just that, the domain name of the organization. So I had to go back to the CyberPeace team and ask for a special permission to broaden my search, which they gave me. Thankfully, nothing came back, but this was very important to the individual and the organization, because it brought back a sense of calm, let's say, and we were able to advise them on how to raise their security awareness and how to choose the next missions, such as a good anti-phishing campaign, a good awareness training, and stuff like that. So even in such scenarios where a lot of public defamation is ongoing for a high member of the foundation, we managed to calm these people down and to give them a good next step on how to raise their security levels and to not fall for scams. The next story is about an organization that deals with the climate. It deals with educating people on biodiversity, on sustainability of ecosystems, and it's much more simple than the previous ones, but this was also very important because it's an organization that had just one person responsible for all the IT equipment. That included all the hardware, all the software they were using, the licenses, basic security stuff. Of course, they had an external company responsible for their website and stuff like that, but for the day-to-day, they just had one person. And that one person had to deal with all the equipment and necessary security training. That organization was relying a lot on their equipment because they were visiting schools for educational programs. And overall, that one person did not have a solid cybersecurity strategy. My engagement with them was for a password management advice mission, in which we go over some options that they have, how to secure their online accounts and all of that, which I did deliver, but at the end, I also answered questions about backup security And overall, that guy felt that he had someone who understands the burden and who can go back and ask more questions in the future if needed. So this is a good example of what I said in the introduction, just one guy taking care of a full team of people. Now, a lot of times things might be business as usual and he can go on about his daily life, but when something happens, that one person, apart from all the roles that he has, he needs to do the firefighter as well. And this is where a good strategy and a good procedure can help him manage that extra load and turn and ask for help where needed. The Cyber Peace Builders community is very tightly woven, and this is a good example of where people can come back after a mission and ask for extra help or extra support. And this is very useful for remaining resilient, even if you have a very small team. The last story I will share is about a recent mission I completed with a peacekeeping organization who initially they asked for a cybersecurity awareness training. This is the most basic training that we do, and is a big presentation essentially. Now, upon meeting with them, I understood that they are looking for something much more specific and much more deep. So they were building a service that was based on AI, and this service would be used by high-ranking officials all over the world. So it was a high-risk environment with high-profile users, which made the whole service a high-stakes one. So what I did is first understand if I can handle this load by myself or if I need the support from someone else from the builders community. And then I went back to the Cyber Peace team, explained the situation, and I tried to see how we can change the mission to encompass their questions and answer these questions. So from the basic awareness training, we went to an AI security-based mission, which has the goal of drafting an internal policy for the organization, which we did, but in the end, we also included a quite detailed annex with answers to their questions and more guidance on how they should proceed. These questions varied from high-level AI security-related questions to the infrastructure that the service would run on, the back end of the service itself, the user interface, and even the model. Now, of course, we can do so many things up to one point, and from that point onwards, we should guide them to an external company or an external advisor who can give them more professional and in-depth advice. But the thing is, even with these limited resources that they have, and even within our scope as volunteers, we can help them if we are flexible and knowledgeable enough. So again, this displays resiliency because we were able to help them and support them to allow them to innovate while having security in mind. So with these 4 stories and with all the different missions that I completed, I learned a few things. And generally, I feel that technical measures and technical controls are very important, but they are tools. They are not the most important thing. Tools can change. The most important thing is to understand the context of the team that you are helping, of the organization that you are helping, and try to find common grounds with these people. So if you find this common ground, you can collaborate and help them in actual scenarios. Now, as cybersecurity professionals, a lot of times we have to check systems and designs and implementations and compare them to the cutting edge and the best standard that is out there. But in reality, when we are talking about a small team, things need to be simplified. And this is something important in this scenario as well. Overall, having empathy for the people that you are helping, understanding their needs and adapting your controls, and creating a network of trust, because it's not just me, it's the whole Cyber Peace Builders network. This will give us the resilience that we need. Now, what's in it for you if you want to get involved? First of all, you are making real impact to real people by giving back to a community, and your effort and your time is amplified because you are helping others who help others. As Mark said in his keynote presentation earlier this morning, this gives you a higher sense of purpose as well. Because this is not something that you do for your living, this is not something to do to earn your money. This is something you do because you like cybersecurity and you like helping people. And lastly, it's about building skills. So you keep your skills sharp, but you can also build or improve skills that you don't use on your daily life. So yeah, that's very good. And what's in it for your employer? So if you're a company, this is for you. If you want to make your company join, this is also for you. Again, as I said, this is a corporate volunteering scheme, so it's not something that we can join as individuals. But if a company onboards to this program, I could expect to improve your employee retention because cybersecurity professionals do this with passion. It's not something that you just do and then forget about it. So having the support of your employer for such activities, it's very, very good. At the same time, it's also good because you allow your personnel to be hybrid upskilled. So you don't pay for something extra, but through these missions, you allow your employees to keep their skills sharp. Then you have very good visibility in the cybersecurity community. A lot of big international companies are in the program. So you get your name shown next to these companies, you get to network and improve your visibility. And last but not least, something which is not my area of expertise, but you can improve your corporate sustainability score, which I assume will play a bigger role in the upcoming years. The next QR code is about a very good blog post that we have on that on the Cyber Peace Builders website. And the first QR code is for you to join. Finishing up, if you get interested, you can go and take a look on the website. I hope that this presentation made you at least a bit interested on that program. If you want to offer your time and your expertise, it's something that you can do on your free time as you wish. And overall, I think that this helps us to rethink resilience as a shared responsibility. It's not just about uptime, it's not just about continuation of business. For this organization and these teams, it's about keep doing what they are doing to help other people. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. I think we have time for some questions.
Thanks, Panos. Please give them an applause. Yes, we do have time for questions. So who has a question? We have a running microphone. First row. Marina has a question in the first row.
Thank you. That was a really great presentation. As someone who has heard of the Cyber Peace Institute before, I definitely feel like more motivated to join. But I just wanted to ask on a more personal note, what was your sort of introduction to the Institute? What pushed you to actually take the step and start being a participating member?
So that's purely because I joined my current employer, MasterCard. I was not aware of the Cyber Peace Institute before. I was not aware of this program before, but by browsing around as a newcomer to the organization, I saw this program. I got curious, I asked around, I joined, and since then I am still an active volunteer. It's a very nice community, and that's what kept me there. So yeah, my employer.
Great. There's another question in the first row. You could stay in the middle of the room.
Thank you for the presentation. What does it look like from the opposite side of the engagement for the people that need help? How do they get the help?
That's not something that I'm 100% sure as a volunteer, but it's a similar process of onboarding. So if you are an NGO that wants to be part of this, I assume that you will get in touch with the Cyber Peace Institute. They would have some kind of onboarding similar to that of a private company. And then you complete some preliminary tests if you get onboarded to understand what your current security level is. And based on that, you get all the support you need to select the next missions that will help you carry forward.
Thank you.
All right. Any more questions? Then I have one question regarding the budget. So I guess you rely on many resources to be impactful, to really create the impact that you want. Can you say something about your funding, about where your energy comes from, like the personal energy, but also the financial energy?
As a volunteer, I don't have any financial energy. Actually, again, I'm not advertising my employer, but we get 5 days per year to do any kind of volunteering work. Most of mine go to Cyber Peace Builders. Now, in terms of funding for the program itself, this is one of the reasons why we have private companies and we don't have public sector companies, high-level education. So when you onboard to the program as a private company, you are making some yearly donation to the industry, to the institute. So that's how it goes. And then the Cyber Peace Institute as well adds funding on the program.
Right. I guess you need that for equipment and travel, etc. There's a bunch of costs that you have, and you need to compensate, right?
I haven't had the need to travel apart from now, and now you are paying. So
good. So we're donating.
That's great.
That's good. That's great. All right, Panos, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.